It wasn't a stage, it wasn't a red carpet, and it wasn't a performance. It was the inside of a parked car, and in that car, G Herbo and Taina were caught in a moment that was never meant for the public eye. Voices raised, faces tense, the kind of exchange that says more in silence than words ever could. And just when it couldn't get more raw, a random fan walked straight up to the car, phone in hand, interrupting their private storm as if it were a meet and greet. The clip spread online within hours, and suddenly what should have been an unseen argument between two people became a public spectacle, forcing Taina to jump online and damage control, denying what everyone thought they had already witnessed. Because this wasn't just about one argument. For months, speculation has been building around G Herbo's late-night appearances. Whispers that he was seen in the same venue as someone who wasn't Taina, seated in a section that fans were quick to label as off-limits. Was it true? Was it exaggerated? No one could confirm. But when you pair speculation with a shaky video of raised voices in a parked car, suddenly the story writes itself. And fans were quick to believe it. It wasn't the first time these two had weathered storm. Breakups, reconciliations, public heartbreaks followed by carefully staged reunions. Their relationship has been an endless cycle of fracture and repair, like glass glued together so many times that the cracks remain visible no matter how much pressure you apply. And once again, the cracks were beginning to show. But perhaps the most unsettling part wasn't their tension. It was the fan who walked right up to their car, interrupting the moment as if it were entertainment on demand. A stranger inserting themselves into one of the most vulnerable flashes of their relationship. Where was the line? Where was security? And what does it say about the culture we've built, where celebrity privacy is treated as a free-for-all? It's one thing to catch a performance, a red carpet, or a live stream. It's another to walk up during an intimate moment of conflict and treat it like content. Yet that's exactly what happened. And in that violation, something else became clear. No matter how much Taina tried to spin the story after, the public had already seen enough to make up their minds. What no one expected was that the same week this video went viral, another storm was brewing just a few blocks away, in a courthouse where flashes popped and questions hurled through the air like weapons. Because while Taina and G Herbo were fighting off whispers of betrayal, Cardi B was battling something far more dangerous. A war with the press that was about to ignite in real time, outside the very steps of the courtroom. It was supposed to be a routine appearance, just another day in the ongoing lawsuit that has already cost her millions in time, energy, and reputation. But when she stepped out of the courthouse, cameras swarmed, and one reporter decided to push the line further than anyone expected. The question wasn't about music. It wasn't about the trial. It wasn't even about her performance career. It was about her body, about her private life, about whether the child she might be carrying belonged to her estranged husband, Offset, or her rumored boyfriend, NFL star Stefon Diggs. A question so invasive, so cutting, that it was designed not to get an answer, but to provoke a reaction. And Cardi reacted. She didn't curse. She didn't scream. She didn't even pause. She reached in her hand and hurled the nearest thing she could grab, a pen, directly at the man who dared to ask. It was over in a blink. The sound of metal snapping against pavement.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Cardi, insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stefon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me.
How are you feeling?
Cardi, your court look is amazing. Who are
You're
you
amazing,
wearing?
Cardi. I still love you, even though you just threw some stuff at
I
me.
don't care. You're disrespectful. Don't do that. Do you see women asking those type of questions to me? Do you see women asking those questions to me?
It's legit.
Why do you feel as a man you get to ask me those type of questions? Act like you have some manners. And your mama taught you, respect women.
Gasped from the crowd, a flinch from the reporter. And suddenly, Cardi B wasn't just walking into court for a lawsuit about assault. She was potentially walking out of it having committed another one. But what came next caught even her team off guard. Because the crowd didn't just witness a pop star lashing out. They witnessed a pattern repeating itself. Cardi has been here before. Months earlier, a microphone hurled into the audience made headlines after striking a woman in the crowd, sparking yet another lawsuit. And now, outside the courthouse where she was already standing trial for a similar accusation, history seemed to be replaying itself in the form of a ballpoint pen flying through the air. For her critics, it was proof that Cardi couldn't control her temper. For her supporters, it was the breaking point of a woman pushed too far, cornered by invasive questions and emotional exhaustion. But either way, the optics were damning. And it wasn't just any question. To imply, in front of flashing cameras, that Cardi didn't know the paternity of her own alleged pregnancy was more than disrespectful. It was designed to wound her dignity. Imagine being told on the steps of a courthouse that your personal life is public property. Imagine being asked, in front of strangers, if the father of your child might not be who you say he is. For Cardi, who has built her brand on being unfiltered, unapologetic, and fiercely protective of her family, this wasn't just a provocation. It was a violation. And for the reporter, it was a moment that might define his career. Not for the question he asked, but for the pen that came flying back in response. Behind the cameras, whispers spread like wildfire. Was Cardi pregnant? Was she hiding her stomach on purpose? Were the oversized clothes intentional? The questions that had been circling online for weeks suddenly felt heavier, and Offset's silence only made it worse. On social media, he refused to confirm, deny, or even address the rumors. And every day that passed, the silence grew louder. Fans began dissecting every post, every lyric, every subtle body movement from Cardi to decide for themselves. And when speculation met courtroom drama, the story exploded. But here's the irony. The reporter's question might have been reckless, but the way Cardi responded gave it oxygen. A single pen toss became the centerpiece of breaking news alerts. The video of her snapping, voice trembling as she scolded the man, began circulating faster than any courtroom detail. And suddenly, instead of people talking about the merits of the lawsuit, or even her upcoming music, all anyone wanted to discuss was the possibility of another assault charge, and whether her pregnancy was real, fabricated, or something she was trying desperately to keep hidden. This is where the stakes shift, because lawsuits aren't just legal battles. They're battles of perception. Jurors are human. They watch the news. They scroll social media. And while judges can instruct them to ignore outside noise, no one can truly erase the image of Cardi hurling a pen outside the same courthouse where she's being accused of assault inside. The timing was catastrophic. Even her own attorneys reportedly grimaced as they realized how easily this moment could be twisted into the narrative that she is reckless, uncontrolled, and prone to violence. And the fact that it was captured on camera made it undeniable. Subscribe right now if you want more raw, unfiltered breakdowns of celebrity trials, public meltdowns, and the stories that never make it past the headlines. Because what's happening to Cardi B is bigger than one courtroom outburst. It's the story of how pressure, pregnancy rumors, and the endless scrutiny of fame can push even the strongest to the edge. And what came next was even more devastating. Because hours after that pen left her hand, a different narrative began to unfold online. Not one about Cardi's anger, but about her pain. Some fans noticed the subtle way she shielded her stomach, the way she avoided turning her body toward the cameras, the exhaustion that seemed to hang heavy in her face. To them, the reaction wasn't just temper, it was pregnancy hormones, stress, and a woman under impossible pressure. And for the first time in a long time, the tide of public sympathy began to shift. Was Cardi really the aggressor here? Or was she simply a mother-to-be, exhausted, cornered, and tired of having strangers decide her life story? But just as the public began to soften, another twist blindsided her team. Because buried beneath the headlines was a chilling question. If Cardi had actually hit the reporter with that pen, even unintentionally, was another lawsuit already waiting in the shadows? The threat of another lawsuit still lingers in the background. But the truth is, this moment was never really about a pen. It was about pressure. Pressure that has been building on Cardi for months, maybe years, until it finally cracked in the one place she needed control the most. To outsiders, it looked like another outburst, another scandal, another mistake. But if you look closer, it's something far more human. A woman balancing motherhood, heartbreak, career, and the suffocating weight of judgment at every turn. Because the real danger isn't just legal. It's emotional. Every lawsuit chips away at her peace of mind. Every rumor about Offset or Stefan Diggs chips away at her privacy. Every camera flashing outside the courthouse chips away at her dignity. And what the world forgets is that even megastars have limits. Even Cardi B, the woman who built her empire on fire, honesty, and resilience, has moments where the weight becomes too much to carry. So yes, she threw a pen. Yes, the optics were messy. But in that split second, what the cameras really captured was not just anger. It was exhaustion. It was defiance. It was a reminder that fame doesn't protect you from being disrespected. It amplifies it. And for Cardi, the fight now is not just about clearing her name in court. It's about proving that she can withstand the kind of storm that has broken so many before her. The question that remains is simple but devastating. How many more storms can she survive? Because every clash with reporters, every lawsuit, every rumor tests the same thing. Her ability to keep her crown without letting the chaos consume her. And if there's one thing we've learned from watching Cardi all these years, it's this. She will never back down from a fight, even when the fight threatens to cost her everything. And that's why this story isn't just about G Herbo and Taina's argument, or Cardi's pen hitting the pavement. It's about the darker truth of living in the spotlight, where your private pain becomes public theater and every misstep is replayed 1,000 times until the world decides who you really are. So I'll leave you with this. Was Cardi's outburst proof that she's reckless, or proof that she's only human? And more importantly, when the next headline comes, because it always does, will the world show her grace or sharpen the knives again? For now, all we can do is watch. Because behind the flashes, behind the courtrooms, behind the rumors, the story of Cardi B is still being written. And the next chapter may be the one that changes everything. If you want the stories they don't put in the headlines, the raw truths, the moments caught between flashes, and the breakdowns no one wants to admit happened, subscribe now and stay locked in. Because the next story is already unfolding and you won't want to miss it.
Sister, I can't keep making excuses for you. Cardi is every time. Just slow down.
We all have to say, Cardi B doesn't care where she is at. You are never going to disrespect her. And I absolutely love this because she didn't care that she was walking outside of the courthouse and trial isn't even over yet. And honestly, if I was Cardi B, I would throw a pen at this reporter too because he was downright disgusting, saying that there was inside sources telling him that Offset was bragging about getting her pregnant with her 4th child, even though no such rumors have even hit the media at all. But it got even worse when they said, is there going to be a problem with DNA with Stefan Diggs? Honestly, I was shocked that a reporter would even ask this question in that much of a disgusting way until I rewatched the video and found out it's actually a YouTuber that I've heard of before that's asking Cardi this question.
But she looks like she's trying to hide her stomach. We already know when Cardi tries to hide her stomach, right? And one of the reporters asked her, oh, that Offset is going around telling people that he got you pregnant for the 4th time. Is there going to be any parental problems with Stefan Diggs? In other words, like, whose baby is it, Stefan's or is it Offset? Cardi got super mad because y'all know her, okay? And she threw a pen at the guy. I really wish you would have not done that because, Cardi, you're going to court for the exact same thing. So now it looks like you're just going to aggress her, and it looks like you have no self-control. But I also understand where she's coming from because it's like, how dare you? How dare you come at me and talk to me about who my child's father is? Basically trying to say that you know who your baby father is, Cardi, and y'all know Cardi don't. She caught it real quick. She don't play around with that, and she was really offended as any woman would be. So she threw a pen at him. Cardi. I love me, Cardi, so I'm going to always support her. But I really hope that this doesn't bite her in the butt when she goes back to court tomorrow, because it's like, you're going to court for doing my kind of person, and now you just threw a pen. My girl Cardi B, it's the pregnancy hormones. It has to be, because the way that she reacted was just so crazy. Oh, it's just Cardi, I know her. She has no filter. She's going to tell you how she feels.
I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if you're being sued for assault and battery, it's probably not a good idea to go outside the courthouse and assault and batter someone. What are you doing? Child. So closing arguments are actually still happening in this case, and it seems like during the lunch break that happened. So the attorneys are back in the courtroom right now and closings are continuing. Hopefully the jurors begin deliberating
y'all. I don't know what to think now. I do not think that Cardi intentionally put her hands on money, but after seeing her throw a marker, take a marker from one reporter, throw it at another reporter, I'm damn near inclined to believe she definitely had her hand in that girl's face. I've always felt like she had her hand in the face, but I never felt like she cut her in the face and left all these marks that required plastic surgery. But Cardi better be happy that they are now in closing arguments and they can't use this type of stuff in court, because damn, after all this time, your temper's still short. You make too much money to have so short of a temper. And they're reporters. They scream out stuff. He's screaming stuff about Offset and Stephon Diggs, and she got mad about it. It does not give you the right. So here's the thing. She could have simply ignored the question. Was that question out of pocket? Yes. He's questioning the paternity of her alleged baby, if she is pregnant, right? It's a really sticky situation because she's still married to Offset and she's been dating Stephon Diggs. Out of pocket ass question. I am not saying it wasn't. But her reaction was even worse. Her reaction is the reason she's in court right now. And it's so crazy because I'm thinking she was pregnant at the time. She didn't do all of that. Probably cursed. But if she is pregnant now, it's damn near the exact same situation. Someone's doing something you don't like and you think that this is the way you're supposed to respond. And I'm really wondering what this person is going to do. Now, I know they're not hurt or anything like that, but it's another stupid lawsuit that could come with because you don't know how to control yourself. Like, she's got to do better. She's too big of a star to still put herself in these type of situations.